history, historiography, and indigenous historical sense. In this insightful lecture, we will bring in depth understanding and emotional appreciation for these comprehensive concepts with creative and visualized understanding. History, the English word history, is derived from the Greek word historia, meaning inquiry, investigation, research, and exploration. History is our living past. History is an attempt to reconstruct, describe, interpret our past, upholding certain definite rules, such as factual correctness, with even the evidence of fact that buttresses factual correctness, logic, or in other words, sound reason, fair and objective analysis, rhythm, in conclusion. History is our living past. History, historians' reconstruction of our living past. History, systematic account of origin and evolution of humankind. For example, origin and evolution of our species, Homo sapiens, from insignificant creature or animal to dominant one or determining one on that even are living or blue planet's future stands in the specific background of ecological collapse or sixth mass extinction. History is a linkage or a bridge between our past and present, an informed framework or enlightened guidance for future. For an example, as examples visualize or understanding that penetrate depth. UNESCO's celebration of International Literacy Day 2016 with theme Reading the Past, Writing the Future. This theme establishes, reflects, radiates the importance of our keen sense of our past. There is also a penetrative or immersive example that visualizes historical understanding in its entirety. Example, Yuval Noah Harari's writings, or trilogy of their writings. First, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Second, 21 Lessons for 21st Century. Third, Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. These trilogies establish importance of history in its entirety. There is another example with our national perspective. Annual financial statement in constitutional language or union budget in popular term. 2022-23. Its inspiration or context, Yogchem, means people's welfare. Directive principle of state policy that are foundational in state's governance in Part 4 or Constitution. Recognized state as a welfare state means people's welfare is state's utmost responsibility. The inspiring, the inspiring inspiration Yogchem derived from our glorious heritage, Mahabharat's Shanti Parv, Mahabharat, War of Righteousness. The very Union Budget 2022-23 crystallized priorities of present. Accessible, resilient, and modern infrastructure. Why? To initiate and accelerate virtuous cycle of expenditure, investment, creation of new opportunities of employment, and distribution of development's fruits inclusively. It is tied towards life with dignity, realization of foundational fundamental right or desirable ideal right or ideal life with dignity. It is framework for future as it aims to ensure India's equal and respectable place among the community of nations. In essence, India's influential, pivotal, decisive, action-oriented role in geoeconomics of the world. History is constant dialogue between our past and present. For an example, freedom fighter, architect of modern India, one of the one of the most makers of modern India, first Prime Minister of India, and his grand presentation of our past and its grandeur inspiration for present in his outstanding work, Discovery of India, Bharat Ek Khoj. History, continuous interaction between historian and their facts as facts and its evidence and analysis, primary edifice on which entire structure of history stands. With strive towards egalitarian social order in general and embrace equity in particular, it has been acknowledged that history has been his story. Now, her story must come out. Now we will visualize historiography, its importance in acquiring in-depth and comprehensive understanding of our past or history. What is historiography? Historiography, the art of history writing. Historiography as history of historical thoughts. Its importance as it guides research scholars and professional historians. Question arises how, in which way it guide or assist historians or research scholars to acquire understanding, portray their understanding. Answer lies in these sentences. First, by upholding models of how history has been written or are past reconstructed as living past through the centuries. Historiography for historians or research scholars is like navigational system for fighter aircrafts pilot. With pride and visualized example as a Rafale fighter aircraft is worthless without a navigational system such as GPS or India's indigenous regional satellite-based navigation system NAVIC. History is mere wings of imagination without in-depth and comprehensive understanding and emotional appreciation for historiography. Records, critical methods, and historical sense constitutes golden triangle of history. Why it is so? As records or remains that the past has left behind may be archaeological and literary are principal material for historians to reconstruct past or transform or past into living past. In essence, no record, no history. Critical method. Critical method is the technique or style towards the truth of past events is critical method. Critical method, analytical in nature, with external and internal criticism, aims to establish value and truthfulness of records, remains, documents, respectively. Critical method ultimately aims to reduce possible errors to minimum level. This was the context in which J.B. Bury, in his inaugural lecture at Cambridge, declared history to be a science, no less, no more. It is to be noted that the subjective element in history makes such an ideal impossible to realize. But we cannot ignore the context in which J.B. Bury made his statements. And historical sense means a keen sense of the past. As a historical sense, diverse in nature in diverse cultures or civilizations. In this context, we can assimilate the diverse nature of historiography of European or Western and Indians. Means our ancestors were not deprived from the understanding of history writing because they developed a distinct historical sense that prioritized ethics, morality, or righteousness, that reflects from ritualistic interpretation of Vedic literature, Puranic to philosophical styles of our sages. But it doesn't mean they ignored materialistic achievements or they left behind accomplished materialistic achievements. Example, Harappan civilization reflects grandeur, marvelous standards of urbanization or living standards, along with worshipping of Mother Goddess that reflects our synergy or confluence with Mother Nature, a reverence for biodiversity. More specifically, 6th century before Common Era, wave of second urbanization, wave of wealth creation, encompasses transcontinental commercial linkage, along with an era of enlightenment immersed in ethics and morality, righteousness, compassion, and creativity, with the emergence of various faiths professing righteousness or righteous way of life. For example, 62 faiths that emerged in that era, remarkable one Buddhism and Jainism. Truth or Gyan Mimamsa based or buttressed on two pillars or foundational pillars. One, intelligence. Descartes, Spinoza, and Leibniz prioritized it, whereas John Locke, Hume, and Berkeley emphasized on experience, another foundational structure or foundational pillar of truth or Gyan enlightened and ethical soul of enlightenment. Immanuel Kant, German thinker, heritage for humanity across the globe, fused two and create or paved a way in for in-depth and comprehensive understanding of truth or Gyan Mimamsa. In the above mentioned or above described context, we can say history and ethias are two distinct disciplines of understanding or knowledge. In their philosophical view, that's all.